for the United States to go to war against Iraq in 2003.
Begin my remarks.
Wallace kept referring to as a Fox News host who had interviewed Rubio about Iraq several weeks ago. Republican candidate Jeb Bush also gave what many saw as mixed answers about Iraq last week, ultimately saying that he would not have gone to war. Emotions ran high after a cop pulled over the lead driver in a funeral procession, 100 cars long, for going too slowly. The highway patrol said that only the uniformed driver on the motorcycle was told to stop Friday in California, but the deceased woman's daughter says a traffic stop made them more than an hour late to the cemetery.
And I'm looking and seeing the car my mom was in on the side of the freeway too. That was embarrassing.
Well, a Highway Patrol spokesperson extended condolences to the family, but they are threatening a lawsuit and demanding a public apology. Bullying appears to be declining. The National Center for Education Stats just crunched some of the numbers. Granted, it's from 2013. About 22% of the students ages 12 to 18 say that they were bullied at school, but that is 6% lower than the previous 2 years. Also, it is the lowest it's been since the study started. Apparently, girls, though, are targeted more than boys, those numbers found. Twitter erupted after Louis C.K.'s edgy monologue on Saturday Night Live. Some say it was super offensive for jokes about child molesters and racism, and that he also compared his kids' fights to Israel and Palestine. I love our viewers are getting creative, aren't you, with weather pictures?
You have to love it. At Bob Van Dillen on the Twitter.
All right. Thank you. So intelligence that the U.S. seized in a raid on an ISIS compound may hold the key to finding out where they're going to strike next. 2 minutes past the hour if you hit the old snooze button, just between you and me. U.S. officials are going through what they hope will be a goldmine of intelligence data seized in a raid that killed a key ISIS leader. Now, CNN's Victor Blackwell reports that the raid on the ISIS compound in Syria had been planned since March. For a T-shirt that had a parody of the iconic flag raising on Iwo Jima. So it's called the Band of Ballers shirt and shows basketball players raising a goal. People on Facebook and Twitter blasted this as disrespectful to military members, and then Under Armour tweeted out an apology and says it will stop selling that shirt. Google is about to put a bunch of its self-driving cars on the road to see how they hold up in traffic. So Jen, we're going to ask her how soon before we start seeing those actually driving around. Good morning.
It depends on where you are, but if you live near their headquarters, maybe this summer, right? Yeah, I mean, they've had them out. They've had employees doing test drives, but now they're having them out a lot more. So you might just see one of those bubble-shaped cars next to you. They're unleashing them. The prototypes are going out on the streets of California, and if it goes well, maybe eventually you'll be able to, safely chat, get a head start on work, drink your coffee, whatever it is you want to do in the car while your car does the driving. You might remember that recently, what?
Blows my mind.
She's going like this.
It just blows my mind.
They said they had been in a couple of accidents, but Google also said that their cars were never the cause of the accident.
Okay.
Yeah? Like it was always some human being.
I don't know if that makes me feel better, because isn't half of driving defensive driving?
That's true, too.
Okay.
The ice cream maker Bluebell, it's going to lay off hundreds of employees, a third of their workforce. And you might remember that they had said, we're not going to lay off anybody, but I guess they could not financially sustain. They're shutting down. They've shut down factories ahead of that summer season after some people died after eating ice cream tainted with listeria. They say they're going to put another third on partial pay, on furlough, and the rest get to keep their jobs, but they're facing pay cuts. Meanwhile, that other much smaller Jenny's Splendid Ice Cream, they're back up and running and say their stores will be open soon. Back to you.
It's sad to hear what Bluebell is going through. Yeah. Certainly, because I think they're a company, correct, that a lot of people kind of cheer for, especially in Texas.
Yeah, especially, it sounds like in Texas, they're basically the unofficial ice cream of Texas.
Mad Men.
Oh, no, wait.
No spoilers here.
Okay.
No spoilers here. But Mad Men aired its final episode after 7 seasons last night. No spoilers here. The hashtag Mad Men finale is still trending this morning. So it seems like the viewers were happy with whatever happened, okay? No
I'm afraid
spoilers.
to look at Twitter. I don't want anybody to blow.
Oh, right. Don't let anyone give it away for you. It stayed true to the show, is what they're saying about the ending. So there were a lot of tears during a special last night about Bruce Jenner transitioning his gender. About Bruce aired on E! And during the show, Kim Kardashian and her siblings said they unconditionally, if I can talk, support Bruce. But they were frustrated that it took him so long to be truthful with them. Part 2 will air tonight. And then a college baseball player caught a ball that hit him while he was at bat. So it hit him, and then he catches it. Eric?
He caught it! And then he threw it back at him.
Well, so Arizona State's, what's his name? Let me hear. Johnny Seawald. He caught the ball under his arm and then tossed it back to the pitcher as he ran to first base. You can hear the announcer love that, calling it one of the greatest things he's ever seen on the field. You can catch, by the way, more trending stories on the Daily Share. That show starts at noon Eastern on HLN. So you can now get a doll with a visible disability. How a Facebook group inspired these new toys. New Orleans neighborhood said it sounded like an explosion when a pickup truck crashed right through a fence and then took out part of somebody's house. The moment of impact was caught on surveillance cam. The collision was so violent that pieces of the fence landed on the opposite side of the house. Part of the truck was stuck in the gutter.
Only 5 or maybe 10 minutes before, I was right there in the room, I'm screaming and I can talk. I tell you, I can talk because my tongue is stuck and my body shake.
Well, the poor thing, witnesses say that the driver was running from cops. That incident is now under investigation. Did you know that you can now get a doll with a hearing aid or a walking stick? The British toy maker called Meade has launched a new line of dolls that can be customized with visible disabilities or physical features like birthmarks or scars. They were created after a Facebook group posted photos of doll makeovers that parents were doing if they had disabled children and wanted the child to have a doll like them. So in sports, the Houston Rockets have advanced to the NBA Conference Finals. That is the first time for them in like 18 years. And Michael Lanos is doing sports today. And for Brian, they faced 3 must-win games in a row to advance. It seems like a lot of these teams have been matched up very well because they were tough games.
And the Rockets were dead. They were down 3-1 in the series and down 19 points at Los Angeles. Developing nations regain their visions, charity vision. So,
okay.
Yeah.
So Nick did okay.
He did all right.
All right. Thank you. So we've got these brand new stories still to come in the next hour. An Airbnb nightmare in California is over for the owner. What did the homeowner have to do to get these people out of their unit finally? And then questions surround the base jumping death of an...
Getting ahead of the program. I want you to be my lady.
I should warn you that this next video may be hard to watch. People in Kentucky, in a neighborhood who saw a girl being dragged by a school bus are amazed she only suffered minor injuries. Here's the video. The girl, neighbors say, was only 5 or 6, and she was getting off the school bus, but her book bag got caught in the door. A red Camaro raced up and flagged down the driver. Police say that the girl was dragged about 100 feet, but witnesses say it was farther than that. Filled a bay near Seattle to protest oil drilling off the coast of Alaska. They're upset that one of Shell's drilling rigs docked in the bay over the weekend. Now, the kayakers who call themselves kayaktivists say that Shell's plan to drill in the Arctic could hurt the environment. Shell has said in the past that it is committed to safety. Remember this video? Toya Graham gained national attention when she gave her son a smackdown on national television just as he was apparently about to take part in a riot that turned violent in Baltimore. Now, the single mom who was unemployed because of health reasons says that she's overwhelmed by the outpouring of support for her, and she's currently weighing 3 job offers and is the beneficiary of a growing GoFundMe page. Thought I'd give you an update on that story. All right, it is the top of the hour. It is a Monday and a morning sunshine. How you feeling other than tired because it's so early? I'm Robin Meade. We appreciate your time. Let's jump right into the stories. About an hour ago, Amtrak restored service between Philly and New York. Now investigators are looking into whether something hit that train's windshield before the deadly crash. The House at the Billboard Music Awards.
66 in NYC. Doesn't happen very often. There you go.
Oh, I just meant from there to who's getting the winter.
Yeah, all that, it's all coming into play.
Easy.
Yeah, I know.
All right, thank you. You know what will happen if it feels like winter and it's Memorial Day there?
What?
People will still be wearing shorts if it's Minnesota. Big deal. I don't care.
Oh my gosh, wait till you get a load of this story. A congresswoman has apologized for something that she did that some people found very offensive. You're going to see what got the California Democrat in hot water. And then you probably heard about children being accidentally poisoned. 15 minutes past the hour. Wow, a congresswoman left members of a crowd speechless when she referred to Native Americans in a way that many found offensive.
I'm going to his office thinking that I'm going to go meet with blah, 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 right? Because he said Indian American.
Wow. California Democrat Loretta Sanchez was speaking to a group with ethnic ties to India on Saturday. Now, when a reporter asked her about this gesture later, Sanchez ran and ducked into a building. She apologized on Sunday.
Sooner or later, we make mistakes because you know what? We're all humans. So in this crazy and exciting rush of meetings yesterday, I said something offensive, and for that, I sincerely apologize.
And then she added that she is Native American, she says, on her mother's side. Minutes past the hour. It's for specialist Jose Zamorano. Salute on the air. All you have to do is go to hlntv.com/Robin. Are you giggling at the picture?
Yeah, and she had the little pink dress on.
Oh, it's so sweet. So sweet. So more people are apparently being poisoned by accidentally biting into those cute laundry pods, even though now there are warnings and labels on the packages that make it harder to open as well. Yeah. But Jen notes it may be groups of people getting poisoned that you might not necessarily think about. Good morning.
Good morning. Yeah, this is a story by the Wall Street Journal. They checked in on what's happening because the companies have made some changes here, and they're basically finding that people, though, are still getting very sick. 7 people have died after biting into the pods. Just this year, every day, 30 little kids under 6, are being reported to poison control centers every day. 2,719 so far this year. And it isn't just kids. It's sometimes adults with dementia biting into them. There's some lawsuits going on mostly against Procter & Gamble because they own both Tide and Fling. They say millions of people use them safely, and it's taken steps to make them safer. I happen to use these little things sometimes, and I have a little baby in the house, so it is a little bit frightening. You gotta keep them far away, and they have definitely made it harder to open up the box. Apple CEO Tim Cook says it was the first head of Apple, Steve Jobs, who changed his life by teaching him that work is not just the drudgery of work. It is putting values. It is making you feel like you're making the world a better place. It's horse racing. American Pharoah is now just one step away from the Triple Crown. The question is, what's going to happen in Queens?
Convicted Boston Marathon bomber Shahar Zanayev could spend at least a decade on death row while his lawyers are appealing. It's according to the experts. The jury decided on death for Zanayev Friday. You know, it's not clear when the judge is going to formally pronounce the sentence. The U.S. attorney for Massachusetts says that Zanayev could be sent to a high-security prison in Colorado or Indiana. So for the second year in a row, we have a racehorse on the verge of a Triple Crown. American Pharoah won the Preakness over the weekend. So now the Belmont Stakes. That's up next. Mike Alanos is doing the sports. Good morning.
Good morning.
So how would you like to work in an office that's above the clouds? You'd have to call down to the first floor and say, hey, what's the weather down there? It is the case inside China's tallest building. It is the second tallest in the world. When it's finished this summer, the Shanghai Tower will top 2,100 feet, just shy of the world's tallest in Dubai. People are now getting a sneak peek, and we're told that mostly financial and government agencies will be moving into the building. Amtrak trains, at last check, they are running again this morning between Philly and New York. It comes less than a week after the derailment that killed 8 people. And the questions and the investigation former President George W. Bush has a message for college grads who have average grades.
Those of you who are graduating this afternoon with high honors, awards, and distinctions, I say well done. And as I like to tell the C students, you too can be president.
He spoke at Southern Methodist University's graduation over the weekend. The hour, been waiting on you. I'm Robin Meade in the headlines while you get ready. Well, police in Waco, Texas are worried that several biker gangs may look for revenge today after a massive brawl yesterday at a restaurant where 9 bikers died. That he hacked into the computer systems of at least 20 airlines. Seemed to struggle to give a clear answer about whether he thinks it was a mistake for the United States to go to war